Hello everyone, this is Priyanshi Soni and today we are going to talk about virtualization, virtual machines and deployment on cloud using AWS EC2. So at the end of this presentation, we will get a hands-on session on how to create an AWS EC2 instance and how we can use it from a local system, how we can access it from local system. So now let's get started. First we will talk about what is virtualization. So understanding the virtualization fundamentals. Basically, virtualization means converting hardware into software. Virtualization basically is a technology that allows you to create multiple simulated environments or a dedicated resources from a single physical hardware system. It enables running several operating systems and applications on a same physical hardware, making computing resources more efficient. So its benefits include virtualization increases the flexibility, scalability, efficiency, as it lets multiple users share a single physical instance while keeping the environments isolated. It also reduces the hardware cost and optimizes the resource utilization. In this way, it helps us in resource optimization, environment simulations, cost efficiency, and enhanced flexibility. Talking about consolidation and virtualization. So basically, consolidation is a process that involves running multiple workloads on a fewer physical machine by using virtualization. Rather than having a dedicated hardware for each workload, virtualization allows multiple virtual machines to share a same physical server. That a same physical server can have multiple virtual machines, which is known as splitting. Similarly, we have consolidation, which involves running multiple workloads on a fewer physical machines using virtualization. So rather than having a dedicated hardware, we have multiple virtual machines which share a same physical server, and consolidating hardware usage and reducing the operational costs. So its benefits include it improves the resource efficiency and reduces the overall hardware and energy cost and simplified management. So let's talk about hypervisor. Hypervisor is a main component in virtualization. So hypervisor is a software or a firmware or a hardware that creates and runs the virtual machines. So there are two types of hypervisors: type 1 hypervisor, which is bare metal, and type 2 hypervisor, which is hosted. So type 1 hypervisor is the one that runs directly on a hardware without the hosting operating system. For example, VM, ESXi, Microsoft Hyper-V, Citrix, Zen Server, etc. And the advantages of Type 1 hypervisor is higher performance, and it does not require any underlying OS layer and often better security. Type 2 hypervisor, talking about Type 2 hypervisor, which is hosted, it runs on the top of existing operating system. For example, VM Workstation, Oracle VirtualBox, etc. And the advantages of Type 2 hypervisor is that it is easier to set up on existing OS, and it is suitable for desktop or lightweight use cases. Key difference is Type 1 offers better performance and security but requires dedicated hardware, and Type 2 provides easier setup and management but with some performance overhead. Yeah. So now let's talk about virtualization and its types. So there are three types of virtualization: full virtualization, partial virtualization, and para-virtualization. So full virtualization simulates an entire physical machine, enabling unmodified guest operating system to run in isolation. It provides complete virtual environment where each VM operates independently of each other. Whereas in partial virtualization, only a part of hardware environment is simulated, and the guest OS may need to be aware that it's running in a virtual environment and may need minor modifications. Lastly, we have para-virtualization, where the guest OS is modified to work with the hypervisor, leading to improved performance due to direct communication with hypervisor. Now, talking about virtual machines, the most awaited topic. So, as we all know, that virtualization is process of creating software-based virtual version of computer with dedicated amount of CPU memory storage that are borrowed from physical host computer, such as personal computer, remote server, such as server in cloud provider data center. So what is virtual machine? Virtual machine is a computer file, typically called as image, that behaves like an actual computer. It can run in a window as a separate computing environment, often run a different operating system, or even a function as a user entire computer experience. As in common, many people's work computers. So the virtual machine is partitioned from rest of the system, meaning that software inside the VM cannot interfere with the host computer's primary operating system. So it allows resource allocation, system independence, and ultimately environment isolation. Let's talk about virtual machine applications and use cases. Why virtual machines are used? So here are the few ways virtual machines are used. First, deployment and testing, building and deploying apps to the cloud, trying out the new operating system including beta releases, spinning up a new environment to make it simpler and quicker for developers to run dev test scenarios, backing up your existing OS, accessing virus infected data, or running an old application by installing an older OS, and then running software on apps operating system that were not originally intended for. So here are the use cases: deployment testing, legacy support system, running older OS operating system and application in isolated environments, security analysis, and cloud deployment. Now let's talk about AWS EC2 cloud infrastructure. So as we all know, Amazon Web Services, aka AWS, is one of the largest and most popular cloud platforms. It offers various services from computing to storage to AI machine learning. And here we will create an EC2 instance. So EC2 refers to Elastic Compute Cloud. This is an AWS service that provides scalable compute capacity in the cloud. EC2 allows user to create and configure virtual machines known as instances, and it is highly flexible and work on pay-as-you-go price model and various instances and types for different workloads. And there are various instance type for various workloads, and we will see on our hands-on session in more detail. So let's talk about scaling and instance management. So here we have vertical scaling and horizontal scaling. So in vertical scaling, we resize the instance by stopping it and changing the instance type for more CPU and more memory. And in horizontal scaling, we add more instances behind a load balancer for better distribution of traffic. So in vertical scaling, we are increasing the efficiency of existing instances, and in horizontal scaling, we are adding up more instances. And talking about performance monitoring, AWS provides CloudWatch for monitoring instance performance and auto scaling to manage the number of instances based on the demand. Cost management, talking about cost management, terminate unused instances and downsize. It terminates the unused instances and downsize to avoid unnecessary costs. And you can also set up budget alerts in AWS to keep the track of your costs. So benefits and impact of virtual machine technology. So what are the benefits? Benefits are cost efficiency, that is running virtual environments from one piece of infrastructure means that you can drastically reduce your physical infrastructure footprint. This boosts the bottom line, decreasing the need to maintain nearly as many servers and saving on maintenance costs and electricity. Then we have eligibility and speed. Spinning up VM is relatively easy and quick and much simpler than provisioning the entire new environment for your developers. Then we have lower downtime, as VMs are so portable and easy to move from one hypervisor to another on a different machine. This means that they are a great solution for backup in event in an event where host goes down unexpectedly. Then we have scalability, that VM allows you more easily scale your apps by adding more physical or virtual servers to distribute the workload across the multiple VMs. As a result, you can increase the availability and performance of your apps. Security benefits, because virtual system uses great guest operating system on VM, allows you to run apps of questionable security and protects your host operating system. VM also allows better security forensics, and often used to safely study computer viruses, isolating the viruses to avoid risking their host computer. Now, finally we have come on to the hands-on session where we will learn about how to create an instance on AWS, EC2 instance on AWS. So here was the most awaited session. So here we are on aws.amazon.com and we will create one EC2 instance. So let's start with sign into console. To signing into our account, we will get to home page. Now to create an EC2 instance, we will click on EC2. Then we will go on instances, or we can directly launch instance from here. So to launch instance, there are various types of instance for various requirements. So here let's name our VM my new server. Okay, we will name it. Then I want Ubuntu as my operating system. You can select your version also over here Ubuntu server 24.04 LTS, so you can change the version according to your requirement. Then we will select your instance type. So there are various instances for various needs, like for T2 micro is the cheapest one, so it is for 1V CPU, 1 GB memory, current generation true, and we have T2 small, T2 medium, according to different memory requirements, according to different CPU requirements. As we require more CPU, there are different other instances. For 8V CPU, we have T2.2x large. Similarly, there are different kinds of instances for different needs. So here we will create a simple instance, that is T2 micro, because right now we do not require much. After that, we will select the key pair. So basically, it is it is a kind of encryption key. So you can either create a new key pair or you can use the existing one. Okay, so here we can create new key pair. But if by chance you lost your .pem key or .pem file of your encryption key, then you will not be able to get that key again. It is only created once. It is not created multiple times. But you can create more other keys. So rather than creating a new key pair, I will use my existing key pair, that is moodle.pem. And after that, I will use existing security group. It is basically a firewall kind of thing here. So we will use this launch wizard one, and I think I need memory of 50 GB, let's say. Okay, now after filling all the requirements, we will just click on launch instance. See, our instance is successfully launched. We can click on it, and we can see all the our instance here. And after clearing the filters, we can see all the existing instances that are running or in other state. So there are talking about instance states, there are start instance, hibernate state, reboot instance, and terminate instance. We can also stop instance or pause instance for a certain period of time in order to reduce the costings. So if you're not currently using your instance, you can also stop the instance. If you stop the instance, your pricing will not be calculated during that particular period of time into which the instance was stopped. So these instances are stopped and these two instances are running. Our newly created instance is here, my new server. So we will click on it. How we will use it? So right now we are setting up that server on our local machine, and right now my local machine is using Ubuntu operating system. So I will so this tutorial will be based on that only. So here we will copy the public IP and we will open our terminal, that is Ctrl-Alt-T. Then we will use SSH-I because we have used SSH key pair, and our key is model.pem. Sorry, Ubuntu @ this public IP, we have to copy it and then we paste it here. Yes. Okay, so here as we can see, we have already entered into connected with our instance, that is Ubuntu at IP 172 this is our public IP, this is our private IP, and the IP through which we connected to our VM server was a public IP. So always to connect with that VM, we need public IP, that is public IPv4 address, and we will use the command ssh-i, your key, that is moodle.pam. If you use existing key Moodle, or you can create a new pair and download that key. So we used moodle.pam. That moodle.pam was an existing directory only, but if it is in another directory, you have to give whole path that where that key exists, and then Ubuntu or EC2 instance @ that public IP. After that, we will just enter into that IP, and here we can create and use as a normal Ubuntu computer. So you can use it as a terminal, normal terminal, and it will have the capabilities of all the capabilities that we have selected in that instance, for that instance. So here we are running a different computer. For example, here आप ऐसा समझिए कि आप एक नया computer use करें. So here I will use basic command, that sudo apt update. So it will update our software. So it will have all the capabilities of a normal computer. Like we can download anything, like we used to do in normal Ubuntu operating system. We can download anything, we can use any installed softwares, we can upgrade the existing system, we can do pretty much everything that we want to do. So here it is our deployed server, and we have connected to the deployed server, and we can use anything. Like we can install any packages, like sudo apt install python 3. So in this way it will install python 3 c, and we can make a directory, hello world. It will create this directory, then we will enter into hello world. Yes, and since we got program to demonstrate it, hello.py. Now we will just run the hello world. That's it. Coming back to this, after going on instances, here are all our instances. Now I want to stop this instance, so we will select it, go on instance state, and we will simply stop it. So it will stop. Or even if I want to terminate it, we can terminate it also. I will just show you how we can terminate it, but before I want to say that we can scale this virtual machine also, that if we want to increase its size, we can increase its existing size, and we can use vertical scaling as well as horizontal scaling as well. So now to terminate this instance, we will go on instance state, and we will terminate this instance. So this instance will be deleted. As simple as that. So thank you for watching. If you have any doubts, you can ask your doubts in the comment section below. Thank you so much.